How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? I am here with the one and only Ultimate Warrior. How you doing today, Warrior?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great too, man. Well, you see, your figure is the most popular in the Classic Series. This is right here.
Is it?
Yeah, this is your art from WrestleMania 6.
You mean this figure?
Yeah, that figure. With WrestleMania 6 against Hulk Hogan. What are your thoughts on it? You like the way it's set up and the way it's designed?
I think the dolls are really great. I remember when JAKKS first started coming out with the dolls, I really didn't care much for them. And but this doll is really awesome. I mean, the authenticity of the strings and the physique and the body movement, the joints, the flexibility and stuff that the doll has, and the realism in the hair and the face paint and stuff like that's really cool.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this one's been going off the charts. As you can see over here, we got these boxes all filled with the Ultimate Warrior figures itself. So, and now we got over here a Toy Fair exclusive. There was only 100 of these made. And obviously, it's a little different design, little paint design. What are your thoughts on this figure?
I think this is a great one. These designs are taken off, I think, WrestleMania 7 in my match with Savage. I think the back of the trunks has on there means more than this or something. It's a painting, an airbrush drawing of the belt and stuff. But yeah, I thought this was really cool too. I mean, they've been doing the dolls for a long time, and I was glad that JAKKS had gotten in touch with me about putting the Ultimate Warrior doll out. So I'm really happy with it. This doll they only made 100 of.
Yeah.
I've got about a dozen of them. I'm probably going to let about 6 of them go. I also have a limited edition of 5 that they're custom making for me. I'm going to put one of those into an auction or let people bid on them, to people that are serious collectors, so they can get that. But I always thought when they made the dolls of years before that the strings and stuff was something that they had difficulty with. They couldn't do it. So I was wondering whether or not they were going to be able to do that. They did that. And shortly, I'll have an image of the one of 5, the limited edition one that they custom made. It's got I'll just say it has a patriotic theme. It's a red, white, and blue, and it's really super cool.
That's very good. You hear that, collectors fans? One of 5 special Ultimate Warrior. Now, there's a big rumor going around on the wrestling figure world that there is another figure of the Warrior coming out in Collector Series number 3. Is that true?
Yeah, I've got some images of that too. It's a lime green and a lime yellow, a design taken from one of my outfits in the past. In fact, I communicate with the creators on the doll, and the great thing about the Ultimate Warrior doll is that I wore so many different costumes, so they can do the different costumes. That's something they really can't do with the other dolls. So I know JAKKS is really excited about that. They haven't told me. I think I have a 2-year contract with them. They haven't told me how many versions they're going to come out with, but I mean the sky is the limit, and they want to get my input on some of the outfits. I've asked them. In the tail end of '96 when I was WWF, and in '98 when I was with WCW, I had some really elaborate dusters and stuff. That's another thing too. We're finding out if they can do the duster, whether it's cost effective, but also the graphic artwork that was done on those from the comic book that I did. They don't know if they're going to be able to do it, but I've gotten a lot of emails and communication from people who would like to see that. So I'll keep pushing for it and see if they can get it done.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, these Ultimate Warrior figures are fantastic. The detail on this is unbelievable. Now, obviously, you were a wrestling fan when you were growing up, and with this new Classic Series revolution happening with the wrestling figure world, who would you like to see be made as a Classic Series superstar? And what do you think about the line of Classic Series?
I think it's great. You know, I think that some of the talent from the past, I communicate still with a lot of people that connected with my career, the Ultimate Warrior's career, that entire era, those characters that they had back then. And I think more so because back then there was a real distinct line between who was a good guy, who was a bad guy. It sort of means something a little different, especially people that are now adults and have kids of their own. They sort of miss in some ways the storytelling that was done. And if you look at all great stories in entertainment or even in books, there's always a clear distinction between what's good and what's evil. And I think that's why people bonded with that era so much. But I'm glad that they're making the classic dolls. I'm glad that they came out with the Ultimate Warrior doll, because people write me all the time and talk about how they miss the Ultimate Warrior participating in the business. I miss it too, but for too many reasons that I can go into now, I'm not in it anymore. It's a different time. Entertainment is different. Sports entertainment is different specifically. And other characters that I would like to see created. Well, I guess with the idea they're going to do the classics, they're going to do just about everybody else. But I'm a little prejudiced, I guess, for the Ultimate Warrior doll. So I can't think of anybody else that I'd like to see made up.
So there you go. The Ultimate Warrior wants to see more Ultimate Warrior figures made. I got one more question to ask you.
Another one.
One more. I would like for you to look into this camera right here, and I want you to tell all the wrestling figure online collectors at Ringside
Well, The Ultimate Warrior is #1 in my book, of course. As the creator and the performer and the portrayer of him, I think it's a way for you to stay attached to what the Ultimate Warrior character meant to you when you were a little kid, and to continue to hand down the ideas, the energy, and the motivation, the inspiration of what the Ultimate Warrior meant to you. You can continue to hand it down and take it out and play with it, or you can buy 2, keep it in a box, collect one of them, and it will continue to increase in value over the years in more ways than just one.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, an exclusive interview.
Back here at RingsideCollectibles.com, also the home of WrestlingFigs.com, with the man known as the Warrior. He has made a different type of impact outside of his wrestling figure in society. What are you doing with yourself now?
I've been staying busy. I mean, since the early 90s, my career is sort of, I guess, at the very least, it's been sporadic. A lot of people know my history and my relationship with Titan and WWF, and then the last time I was in the ring was in '98 WCW, which seems like yesterday, but it was a long time ago. I just continued to do other things. Whenever I left the wrestling, I got busy in other pursuits and set other goals for myself, and over the years, that's led into my going out and doing public speaking, talking about growing in other ways, being a mentor in a different way, inspiring young people in a different way. Today we were at Hofstra University and did a speaking engagement over there talking about conservative ideas, conservative philosophy of life, and some of the things that are of interest to me today.
So in today's world of wrestling entertainment, is this something you are pro or against?
Well, I mean, I'm not against. I haven't watched it. The last time I watched WWF or WWE was 1996. That was the last time I was there. In '98, the last time I watched any wrestling at all was WCW. I watched a couple videotapes of my performances there to get a gauge on what I was doing. I don't watch it. I spend more time doing other things, but reading books and having other interests. But no, I mean, I think in the mid-'90s, entertainment, but specifically sports entertainment, took just a really perverse turn, just a degenerative turn. I like to say that they started opening the provocative envelope. Now they've turned it completely, nakedly, inside out. And I think that they've come to the end of the run that they're going to have in that kind of stuff. With the kind of television programming you're seeing today, that people are becoming numb to it and burn out on it. I think you're starting to see a lot of that. And no, I mean, I'm not a fan of what they're doing today.
So you're using your celebrity from wrestling to basically come back and re-educate the fans of wrestling with what you're doing today, and it's in the political realm.
Well, I think continuing to evolve in my life and become something even greater, more ultimate, if you will, than what I even did in wrestling. I think it's part and parcel of how people need to grow up in their life. One of the principles I live my life by is that when people reach an age where they're grown-ups, they need to think and act like it. And I don't think we have enough people doing that. And when you watch television and you listen to all the things that are going on in our culture and in our society, a lot of those things would just disappear if people would think and act like grown-ups when they got to an age where it's expected of them that they will. I don't believe any of my experiences in my life thus far are coincidence. I think they're all destiny. I think my experiences as a young kid, my experiences as a young man, my experiences as a creator and performer of the Ultimate Warrior character, and the kind of career I had and the kind of bond that the Ultimate Warrior identity made with people, and what I'm doing today, I don't think it's coincidence. I think it's a part of the destiny I'm fulfilling, that I can inspire people in a different way, in a deeper way today, going out and speaking to them.
Right, so all those fans that you millions of fans that were Ultimate Warrior fanatics, now you have them on a different level because they have grown and matured with age, and now you're affecting them.
They show up when I go out and speak. In fact, as I said today, sometimes in the middle of my speaking engagement, everybody's face in there will turn into a 10-year-old kid, because they were all 10-year-old kids at the peak of my career when they made that connection with the Ultimate Warrior. But it's the way, if you go back, and there was a time in my life during one of the absences in my career and I was pursuing other goals, I went on this self-learning journey. Actually, I used a lot of my success to finance my self-learning journey, buy myself time to become enlightened about something else I could go out and continue to do. Even in the early 90s, after my match I had with Hogan, because when I got in the business, I looked at it as a goal. I knew what was, I looked at the landscape of wrestling, where they were going. It was going physiques. I knew I had the knowledge to create the best physique in the business, wrap it up in something colorful and vivid and energetic. my goal in that business when I got in it was to get to the top. And then having that match with Hulk Hogan was at the top.
Right.
And so I started setting other goals, thinking even then, what could I do later on in my life with the warrior identity that I created, and continue to use it to inspire people positively. And that's what I'm doing today. And through the self-learning journey I went on, reading classical literature and studying the great books of the Western world, what I discovered is that that's the way the world works, is that there's a certain period in your life. And when I go out and talk to 20-year-olds, myself being 44-year-old, I let them know. I make sure that they know that they're at a place in their life where they have the opportunity to make all kinds of mistakes, huge mistakes if they want to. It's the time for them to figure out their philosophies of life. But there comes a time later in your life, and this is where I guess I criticize some of the people that I worked with during my era more than others, Hulk and Piper and some of the other guys that have had that opportunity to figure out their philosophy of life but still haven't grown up. It's the way the world works, is for people to do what I did, like with the Ultimate Warrior, balls to the wall, just go for it. But then later in your life, you get to a different place where you influence and you mentor and you motivate people in a different way.
Well, if you want to visit Ultimate Warrior at any of his speaking engagements, you can visit his website, which is
ultimatewarrior.com, and I answer all my email there. And anybody that wants to communicate with me can do so there.
So, if you want to go book Ultimate Warrior for a speaking engagement, please visit ultimatewarrior.com. And thank you for visiting WrestlingFigs.com. Thank you very much for having us with you tonight. Thank you.